Welcome back to episode 8 of Should We Have Watched That?
I'm Soraya.
And I'm Amanda. What did we watch, Sass?
We watched some theatre, we did.
Our first theatre show of Fringe.
We were apprehensive about theatre shows just because we have obviously some history in theatre. So we went to see Bogan Shakespeare presents King Lear. We like our Shakespeare, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't know too much about King Lear, though.
No, I didn't know King Lear personally.
No. Amanda and King Lear have never met. Full disclosure.
Should tell the audience that.
So, this is a very Perth-based show.
Yes.
It is done by BS Productions. We're not sure if that's bullshit or if that is...
Bogan Shakespeare.
Bogan Shakespeare. Exactly. Honestly, I could see it being bullshit productions. I really could.
Yeah, I feel that now that I've said it out loud, yeah.
So they're a collective of West Australian-based writers, directors, performers, improvisers and comedians. So it's all very, very local. This show is very, very local.
It's extremely local.
Yes, I don't think we were a good audience for it, as in Amanda and myself, just because we've lived here for 2 years, 2 and a bit now, and there's so much that you can take in as a local compared to what we were able to take in.
Yes.
There were in-jokes, there were mentions of like big families in
locations in Perth.
Yeah. Where like we understood them to a degree, but the amount of laughter that were coming from the people around us compared to
us two,
it's not because we were trying to be hypercritical of it. It's just we didn't get the jokes; they went over our head.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's, I feel like not even familiar with a lot of Australiana stuff.
Yeah,
considering that I was born and raised in Indonesia for 18 years and moved over for uni. I feel like I've been left out of a lot of Australian slang, language, mannerisms, which I feel like I've picked up on now.
Yeah.
But even when you bring up like old ads and stuff, they just go straight over my head because I've never seen things.
Yeah, I want her to know a 90s or like early 2000s ad reference, and of course she has no freaking clue.
No idea.
So there were moments that I definitely enjoyed. There was one joke that I did get on about a university, and I thought that was really funny.
Yes.
Right at the start.
Yes, I got that one too.
Yeah, look at us go. We're essentially locals. And there was a clever theatre-based joke, which we both loved. It took me a second to get it.
I was cackling.
I was wondering why you were cackling, and that's what made me think harder, and then I got the joke. Then I was giggling whilst they continued the set, and I was just going.
It was so good. Every time he said its name, I just kept bursting out into... Just kept bursting out into laughter. I was like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
The union of the two, big major... I don't want to spoil it. Yeah.
We'll just say playwrights.
Yeah, we'll just say playwright.
It's okay if you don't get it. It's not a huge moment in the show. It's just, like, if you don't know a lot about theatre, you might not get it. And it's okay if you don't get it.
Because I don't think it was getting as many laughs at a lot of the Perth jokes.
No, yeah, the Perth jokes were the main event.
They had me, they did. They had me.
So this was at the Heath Theatre.
And this is $35, and it is about 70 minutes long.
Yeah, I'd say that it's worth the price. I don't think I'd see it again, purely because as someone not from Perth, a lot of the jokes didn't land.
We did also actually go with a friend who is a local, and he
loved
it.
He
loved it.
We were discussing the show on the way home, and he was adamant about how much he adored the show. So yeah, we're just not the right target audience for this, but the crowd's reaction was huge. It was a really great crowd. We went on a Thursday night. Like, it's not... you expect a really bombastic crowd on the weekends, and it wasn't the weekend, and it was still going off in that theatre.
So I think the concept is pretty goddamn clever.
Yeah.
Bogan Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And it has so much potential. I just think, like Sass said, I think it's just those local in-jokes just went over our head.
Yeah. Like if I, because I would say I don't know, if this was at the Adelaide Fringe and my parents were, in the city and I wanted to introduce them to Shakespeare and it was Adelaide specific, I would be like, yeah, mum and dad, go see this.
Yeah.
As an introduction to Shakespeare. I think it's a really cool idea for any Perthies that just want like an easy in.
Yeah, because it's like, we know that, I mean, I don't know, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Oh, yeah?
But Shakespeare and we don't have the best relationship sometimes. It takes me a lot of reads to understand him sometimes. Shaky Spears?
I mean, at least 2 reads.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It takes me a while to fully grasp, not even fully grasped, to kind of grasp. So I think this is a great introduction into Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Because it's so palatable and digestible and you get the storyline without the
archaic language.
Yeah.
Because we should have mentioned earlier, this is not in Shakespearean language. It is. So when they say Bogan Shakespeare, they have completely altered the circumstances that things happen in for the plot, as well as completely altering the language. So it is just in everyday Aussie vernacular. There is swearing. If you want to take a kid along, just know that there is swearing. And a couple of dirty jokes and incest mentioned.
Which is why I think the concept is brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, I think truly it's such a clever idea. I just think that, I just don't think we were the right audience. Because I feel like if there was an Indonesian version of this, I would be cackling.
Yeah.
And all over it.
Yeah. Same for me in Adelaide. Like, it's just, we didn't get the references. I wish we did.
Yeah, so we just got the theatre in jokes.
Yeah. Which, like, there were enough to kind of keep us a bit entertained. So that's all that really matters. And there was a great moment of them breaking the fourth wall.
Oh, yeah, that was very clever.
Very meta and very funny. So we still found ways to enjoy it. It's just not perhaps what the performers intended for us to enjoy.
Yes.
As much as their Perth-based jokes.
Yeah, I don't think we were their demographic.
No, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we spoke about dialogue. It's
Aussie.
It's, Australianised.
Great word.
Australianised.
Being added to the Oxford Dictionary this year.
So it was at the Heath Ledger.
Yeah, beautiful stage.
I thought it was great. The colour being...
Oh, yeah. There's one moment right at the start that is just, it's so extra and unnecessary, and they are completely aware of that, and it was very funny.
And they do bring it up, which is even funnier, I find, when they,
when they acknowledge it.
Yeah, when they acknowledge the fact that they put so much money towards something that was for 2 seconds.
It was so superfluous. Set was simply some sticks and ropes made to look like a jetty and and 2 outdoor
signs.
seating areas. Yeah, there were 2 signs. You're correct. Outdoor seating areas with umbrellas that were kept down because we're inside.
Yeah, reminiscent of a fish and chippery.
Yeah, and then two signs that interchange.
Yeah,
as necessary for the location. I don't really have a lot to say about it. It
did the job.
Yeah, and it's a Fringe show, so you can't really have like a huge amount of alteration. Otherwise, we'll be sat in darkness for a while. Yeah.
And then we did have a glorious moment where a boat got pulled out as
well. There is a boat. The production value.
The production value. And then, of course, lighting. So, I guess technicalities. We did have... Last night, there were a few technical faults.
Yep.
Not major.
At fault of the performers.
No.
I think it was just a microphone. When you're working with microphones, it can be tricky, and sometimes they do just short out for strange reasons.
But I think the guy who played Lear was aware of that, and he did end up projecting, and we could all still hear him, so that wasn't a problem at all, which is very impressive.
Yeah, it's a big theatre, and I do believe that these are trained actors, so they have the ability to work without microphones. I was kind of... Like, I didn't really think they needed the microphones, to be honest.
Did you hear at one point where it was kind of...
Yes, yeah. That's the bit I think that it went
before
particularly... Like,
it kind of cut out.
Yeah. And then it came back in after King Lear had done some dialogue.
Yeah.
Whilst projecting. And then it came back and,
Yeah.
he was fine, and there was no more
Yeah. I didn't know how to explain it, so I just had to
feedback,
ASMR it.
maybe.
That's the one. Feedback. And then also there were just kind of slower cues, I thought, when he jumped into, just in terms of sound and stuff like that. But we're there with a critical eye, so I don't know if I would have noticed that if I wasn't going in to review.
I think after seeing something like Barbaroi, where the sound and lighting cues were so tight.
It was schmick.
Yeah, and that was our first show that we saw this year. So I think after seeing that, and it being in the Heath Ledger, we were expecting it to be a little bit tighter.
Yeah, I thought kind of grander, despite Bogan Shakespeare.
Yeah, and it's okay that it wasn't. It's just, I think we had different ideas going into it.
Yeah, expectations.
Yeah.
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 So, favourite moment?
Favourite moment? It's either gonna be the bird.
That was definitely mine.
I don't want to say like too much about it. Okay, so if you're gonna have the bird, I'll have the fourth wall break.
Yeah, I also liked that too.
Yeah.
We can have one each.
Yeah.
But we both like them both.
So one's at the start of the show, one's almost at the end. So it's nice to have something to like bookend.
Yeah.
The performances that we really, really quite enjoyed.
Yeah. I think it's like Act 2, The Burb.
This is a non-intermission show, so Act 2 means very little.
Yeah, that's true.
The thing that I didn't particularly like, this was an audience-based thing that I didn't like. Whenever there was a blackout, everyone would clap. And that just annoyed me. Like, the show's not done. I was thinking as a performer how, like, it's
I don't know.
everyone did clap.
I don't want to argue with you.
You can argue with me, it's fine. I just didn't particularly like that they...
Well, I think it was quite, like... I suppose being Bogan Shakespeare, it was feeding off feedback.
As in, like, supporting... Yeah. Okay.
So I wonder if... I don't know. I almost think... Because they did make an announcement at the end being like, you know, this is our 9th year, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they had a lot of people in the crowd that was seasoned Bogan Shakespeareans who have come to this.
That was a great sentence.
Thank you. You know, who have come to their shows multiple times. So I wonder if it's just the audience that has been fostered in a sense.
Yeah, maybe. That checks out. I think perhaps I would have been more like all right with that kind of like clapping in between lighting if it was in a smaller space. I don't know, it just maybe because it felt more regal.
Because we were at the Heath.
Yeah. It's funny how a space can do that.
No, it definitely... I mean, I think that's why we kind of walked in with a bit more, like, preconceived expectations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Being that we had seen very grand shows at the Heath Ledger Theatre. But yeah, so favourite moment was those two.
Yeah. The bird.
The burb.
and the fourth wall break.
That was very clever.
Yeah.
That was very clever. I did also like the boat moment when that came out. I just found that very funny.
What he says is, as the boat comes out is great. It is great.
So that kind of wraps up this episode, guys, of Bogan Shakespeare.
I've been Soraya.
And I'm Amanda. And we'll catch you in the next one where we watch...
Josh Staley, Lie to Me.
A show that Sass has picked out because she loves...
I love magic.
She loves magic.
I'm such a little magic fiend. I wish I knew how to do all of the sleight of hand, so I'm very keen about it. Amanda is not.
I don't hate magic, I just...
It takes a lot for you to be impressed by it.
Yeah, kind of. Also, it's kind of like stand-up comedy gigs where sometimes it makes me cringe.
Yeah, I'm also taking her to stand-up comedy gigs, so prepare. But should we have watched that, Bogan Shakespeare?
I think so. I think it was... Because I've never seen Shakespeare like that.
Yeah.
I think it was nice for me. I don't think I would watch it again.
Yep.
I think I just don't know if now I've come to the decision that it's a local production and maybe I need to know more about Perth if I'm going to have to watch it again, that I don't know if it's just going to go over my head.
Yeah, I think the same thing, to be honest. If it is so Perth focused for us,
Yeah.
it's probably not a watch again.
Yeah.
However, if there are people in our lives that, you know, ask about the show that are from Perth, I think I would say go and watch it. But if there are other interstate people like us, I would say that
wait for it to come to you.
Yeah.
And watch it when it comes to your city. A city near you.
City near you.
3 words, Sass.
3 words. I'm gonna be honest, it's Perthie. It's very Perthie. It's very silly. Which I was talking to our friend about post-show, and he said it felt like to him students performing for their fellow cohort to laugh at them.
It was it was kind of clowny.
Yes, yeah, I'd agree with that.
After our clowning we did 2 years ago. But yeah.
And consumable. So Perthie, silly, consumable. What about yours?
Well, I'd say that this is a great way to digest Shakespeare.
Oh,
so
yes.
Digestible.
Very close to consumable.
Look, you're not wrong. In jokes.
Yeah.
1 word.
I'd say that's 1 word. We'll put a hyphen in that.
Yeah.
In hyphen jokes.
And local.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So yeah, thanks guys. We'll catch you in the next one where we again watch Josh Stanley lie to me.
Staley.
Staley.
Josh Staley.
Why did I say Stanley?
Because I think your brain like filled in after the STA.
Oh, this is why I let Sass say it.
Oh, it's Josh Staley, everyone. Lie to me. All right, we'll leave you now.
See ya.
Bye.